What's going on, everybody? So in this video I'm going to be going over how I took the data from my YouTube channel and actually repurposed it into a Google Data Studio dashboard. This is all custom data visualization I'm going to show you here. I'm going to get into why I did it, and I have a course on how I did it. I'll put the dashboard, the course link, all that good stuff in the description for you guys, but wanted to go over roughly what I took my data, what I made it show me, right? And I'm going to show you why too. So I'm going to switch right over here to the YouTube Studio, where you can see the analytics tab and where it shows you exactly how you're doing. A lot of good metrics here. You got reach, engagement, your audience, revenue, a lot of interesting stuff here. It also shows you the performance of some of your videos, right? The reason I made this when I have this, right, was because what I did was, and I'll talk you guys through this, I actually went through and identified a couple of gaps, a couple of things that YouTube analytics don't actually give me. So for me, as the person, the customer, I'm sitting here thinking hey, I want to see my my trend line. I want to see if I'm trending up or down. YouTube will show you how you're doing, and they kind of give you some trend indicators, but they don't give you an overall trend indicator. So anyhow, what I did was I found out where the gaps were and I put them into this dashboard. So first off, I'm going to go over the dashboard and what it shows, and then I'm going to walk back and then explain why I put this stuff. So this front page of the dashboard, right, when you hit this, it should look just like this. I've got just logo, photo of myself. I got these linked to my channel. And then I've got some summary stats, likes, comments, total views, total shares. Everything is just filtered to show 2020, right? So just kind of like a year summary, right? And then here at the bottom, I've actually got this cool trend line, right? So I have all of the watch time per month. And right now you can see as of November 24th, on that day, I had a all-time high, I think, for the year by far, for watch time, and it looks like I'm trending up, right? So this is a pretty cool first page, right? And then second page, right? And I can get into a little bit of the why I did this. I couldn't really see what top countries I had watching my content. So what I did is I made a table with a heat map here that showed what countries were giving me the most watch time views and the average watch time. And so the US is overwhelmingly there, but also India. I got some from Australia, Canada, Brazil, right? A bunch of other countries. And if you scroll down, you can go and you can see. Looks like China's an all-time low with only 14 minutes. Actually, I got maybe Thailand is an all-time low with 7 minutes. But I could actually go down and see the country that has the least and lowest watch time, and so the country name is not spelled out here. They don't give you that, so I would actually have to try to match these country codes to another data set if I wanted the country name there. But you can always Google these and you can see what they are if you decide to build a dashboard like this, like IN is India. Usually these are pretty easy to figure out, but as we get through so many countries, because there's a ton, it's hard to tell what PL is, right? Not sure off the top of my head what that is. Okay, so I also took total watch time and views, and then I compared them in a double metric bar chart thing here. So I've actually got more views in India and less total watch time. So interesting that that's a split, whereas in the US I have less views and more total watch time. But as you can see, outside of the US is kind of either pretty even, or it is stacked kind of side by side. So that's just interesting to see right here, right? How these metrics compare depending on where you're at. And then also, so another thing that I wasn't able to see was what are the top states, because the US is my top country, and one thing that they give you in this data set is they let you see what states are at the top. So Just one thing I want to highlight that I think is maybe a little bit of an oversight, but it was pretty tough to remove the total summary, right? And so that always just sort of floated at the top. So shout out to Google if you are in here. Would really appreciate maybe getting rid of this sum, because we could just calculate a sum of this stuff. I just want to see the state codes, right? So we got California, Texas, Florida, New York. No surprise there. One thing that just came in fifth here for me, the state there, fifth was Hawaii. I have a lot of Hawaii content from since I've been out here. I've been making a lot of videos about different places in Hawaii, and so I actually have the longest average watch time out of my top ones from Hawaii, because people are definitely pretty interested in that. And even though I have more total watch time, I don't have that many views, right? So good average there, good performance in Hawaii, and it just allows me to see those stats and kind of what I have going on there, right? So I can go and I can hover over this map and I can see total watch time sum, and just look at that. That's super cool, and something that's really interesting for me. And also, this is something that was not given in the, I wasn't able to access inside the Google Analytics dashboard or YouTube Analytics dashboard. Also, I've got each of the states, and I've got their total watch time versus the views. And as you can see, the pattern for each state kind of mimics what we saw here on the other tab, where we have lower views, higher watch time, right? So it's the same for those states, right? The only thing I don't like about these maps right here is that you can't really set the zoom level on some of them, so they're kind of a pain. Just a personal observation of me building these maps out. Okay, then I went and took, I wanted to get just a simple table with a heat map of global video performance stats, right? So I wanted to get my video title and the country that it was performing the best in, and then the views, right? And also with this table, what I did is I added a bunch of different optional metrics. So if I toggle these on, I can see how many comments were added, the average view percentage, and the video shares, and I can just bump this table all the way out to where it's going to show me a bunch of different metrics, and I can easily take those away if I want. But if I wanted to see, like, so this one in the US, I've got high watch time, high views, high comments, high engagement, because that one is a really interesting one, and a lot of people will have an opinion on it, right? And then I have video shares as well, right? And I can just easily take those off, right? But this is really cool because it gives me a bunch of different pieces of data, which I can then kind of pull in at random. And I can also just sort by, if I want to see like the most commented on video, then I can go and see that I've got Murder Mountain and Satan's Kingdom, which are two places, real places, right? And then also this how to install this brace, Google Earth Pro Fundamentals and Advanced Features course, right? Interesting too, because this one video right here, this is just something interesting. I made this video like back in like 2016. Like this video has been at the top of my channel like 4 years, and it's kind of crazy that it's still additionally one of the most highest performing videos, not just in I've gotten the most subscriptions off of it, almost a decent amount of comments, but definitely the most watch time and views. And it's honestly one of the worst videos that I've ever made. So it's kind of an interesting just observation of how my channel is performing per video, right? So that's a dashboard. You can definitely go check that out. I have a link to that in the description here. And I'm going to go ahead and dive into how I came up with these overall stats, right? So the YouTube Studio Analytics dashboard has some pretty great stuff. So if I do last 365 days, or if I just say 2020, right, which would be more accurate, right? I can see some of these summary things, right? So on this overview, not really missing too much, right? But I didn't have likes, I didn't have shares, right? I did have subscribers, I did have views, I even have real-time views, and that's great. And I do have top videos this period, but when I go into, let's see, reach, right? So if I go into reach, I can see my traffic sources which is great. That's definitely something that's really cool. But I never could see the like where I'm having people tune in from. So I immediately was like, okay, so let me go ahead and start at a global level, and let me look at all these countries, right? So I incorporated this map to just have this nice overall heat map indicator, and then I dialed down, since this was the biggest biggest pile of watch time over here for this year, I just dialed in and was like, let me see all those states, and let's see what's going on there, right? So this just gives me a good view. It doesn't give me much of an indication of anything other than Hawaii, even though it's not particularly high amount of people living there. It's just a lot of my content is about Hawaii or places in Hawaii, so I'm getting a lot of views there because people are coming here on vacation or they live here and they want to see what my videos talking about, regarding like Kaena Point or fishing out there or something like that, right? So these top 4 don't really give me any sort of spicy metric because I should be expecting that I'm going to have more watch time there. Now, if I had like top watch time like from people in like Wyoming, well, there's not a lot of people who live in Wyoming, so that would be kind of surprising if Wyoming was beating out like California or something like that. But just back to the overall point of it, this is exactly why I took this right here and made this, because it gives me that insight that the dashboard doesn't, right? Because if I had just made all of these same dashboards, I wouldn't have had really any value added. But over here, I do have some value added. I want to backtrack real quick just to this chart right here. And I kind of hit on this a little bit, but if you go to my overview, and I see this views and this watch time set up here, I don't have really any indicator of if I'm trending up or down. I don't really know, even though I push back to lifetime. I know that, I've had some spikes, right? But overall, like 2017, roughly kind of looks exactly the same as today, right? Because I just haven't had too much growth, right? And then over here, it looks like I was doing a lot better in 2017, right? As far as watch time, and then it's been, just going down, right? I had a little hump here. But overall, I want to know like the hard line, like am I currently trending up or down? And that's what this this orange line is supposed to give me an indication of. So this right here at least shows me, hey, across the year, you had a little bump here, but now you are currently trending up. You're getting slight indications that we're on our way up, right? So that's just a thing that's not readily baked into the YouTube studio, right? And it's really nice, and I liked that I could add that. So that's definitely something. And then also too, let's go look at the so top videos this period. So let's go back to 2020. Right, so I have my top videos, but once again, I don't have any of those additional indications, right? Because I'm getting average view duration and views, right? And it's funny because one of the big things that YouTube actually cares about, or that most people care about, especially when they're talking about getting monetized and all that, is we're talking about watch time, right? Average watch time, and we're also talking about overall watch time. So I was able to put my watch time stats in here, and I was able to put my views, comments, subscriptions that I'm getting from videos, right? And then this may allow me to kind of hone in on what sort of content I should create based off of some of these insights, right? So that's something that was lacking over here that I just brought over here and had. So if you want to make one of these, pretty much done explaining pretty much why I created this and what this visualization does for me, right? Pretty much over that. But if you want to learn how to make these, I have a course on Google Data Studio which goes over how to work with widgets and work with some different data sets, but you're going to learn some of the fundamentals in that course. So I'll definitely drop a link to that in the description. Go check that out. Would super appreciate a like or follow on here. Thank you so much for watching if you're still here with me, and have a good one.